A dance, Hot hissed in her ear, apologetic. You're a dean, not a hostess as a pig and pepper. You can't dance with students. I've copied the Ever Never handbook thoroughly and see no rules against it. And besides, some of these boys look far older than I do, Sophie said, turning to greet the next boy. Only it wasn't a boy at all. It was a dean. And she wasn't alone. Dean Dovey clattered past Sophie into Evil Hall, green gown sweeping behind her, as if this was her school and Sophie the intruder. The silver-haired professor was flanked by three witches, each of whom glared at Sophie one by one. Ever boys in our castle, said the tattooed witch. Ever boys in our school, said the albino witch. Told you, huffed the jolly witch, turning Sophie's tiara into chocolate and gobbling it down in one bite. You lied to me, Sophie mewed, gaping as Clarissa's quest map, floating over the sand on either side of Halfway Bay. All her classmates' names were colored red beneath their moving figurines instead of blue like they were on her map. But I'm supposed to know everything. I'm a dean. I'm your equal. Instead, you give me a false map. You make me think all my quests are going well. You keep me in the dark on the fact my friends are failing miserably. France is a loose term, Hester murmured. And you being equal to Dovey is like dots being equal to me, said Annabelle. We'll see who's equal when I turn your west to fudge, said Dot. Oh, be quiet, girls, Professor Dovey said, sitting gingerly in one of Evil's cabanas that Sophie had added when she turned the once barren shores of Halfway Bay into a beach. Music and laughter from the party carried down the hill. With the August nights sultry and fresh, the elder dean had recommended they speak outside, where students wouldn't overhear. But now, Dovey was peering around at the torch-lit huts decorated with glamorous portraits of Sophie, the golden sand speckled with S-shaped couches, the once slippery black moat of Evil turned royal blue with a statue of Sophie astride a dragon spraying water from its mouth. I honestly don't know where I am, she murmured. Sophie cleared her throat harshly. I know you're upset, Sophie, and you have every right to be, Professor Dovey sighed, massaging her knees. Fairy godmothers don't make it a habit of using magic to deceive. But fairy mothers also have a duty to protect the greater good. If you have known what was happening, it was only a matter of time before word of the oldest students' struggles leaked through the school and distracted the first years. I know you'll say you can't keep a secret, but frankly, you seem incapable of setting boundaries with your new charges at the moment. Sophie put her hands on her hips. What in heavens makes you say that? Dauphin turned towards the castle's open windows. Inside Eiffel Hall, two elf boys danced stressfully on Sophie's statue, while an elf boy spotted Sophie watching and yelled, Dean Sophie, will you marry me? Sophie stepped out her glowing pink finger, shutting the windows and drawing the curtains. Well, if you were so scared of telling me about this failing quest, why are you telling me now? Professor Dauphin turned to her. Because I need you to lead a quest into the woods and save your fellow classmates before any more of them die. Every trace of difference melted out of Sophie's face. She saw the three witches staring at Gustine the same way. Die? Sophie wept. Professor Dauphin looked away, mouth quivering. Sophie could hardly get the word out. Who? The elder dean watched the waters of the bay roll between good and evil, thin to thick, water to slime. The map, Dauphin whispered. Slowly, Sophie and the waitress raised their eyes to the dean's quest map, its names in a red alarm red, so different from the cool, serene spruce Sophie had seen across her dotted one. But one name was different. Its ink was darker red than the others and dripping off its label as if sipping blood. A thin black line ran through the name, scratching it out. The name was Chadwick. Sophie's breath caught. In a single mark, a soul lost. For a long while, no one spoke, the silence broken only by the festive buzz behind them and the snores of sleeping steams overhead, perched on the scaffolding shrouding the schoolmaster's tower. Dot wiped her eyes while Annabelle focused on the ground. Even Hester looked unsteady. Gazing across the lake at Goose Glass Castle, Sophie thought of the burly, grey-eyed elf boy who had once wagged down those halls and been Tetra's most faithful leech, just like Agatha had been her own. But Agatha was still alive, of course, even if she was somewhere far away. Tetra's best friend was dead. How? Sophie stammered. We don't know, said Professor Dauphin emptily. His body must be in Avalon, otherwise his figure would have moved on the map.